So I grew up in a Christian family. I knew God and knew Jesus from a very young age. I would often go to school and kind of share whatever Sunday school message I had gotten with kids on the playground, which wasn't always received well. I'd get bullied and stuff like that in school. So over time, I just kind of stopped talking about that and kind of shut off other people or would kind of isolated myself. And especially once my job moved to work from home, I was definitely isolated since I didn't have anyone else, even at work, to talk to anymore. And then a few years ago, I had a family friend invite me to come to family church, which at first I was a little hesitant. I wasn't sure because of previous experiences with churches, but I decided to give it a chance anyway. When I did, the first time the pastor spoke a sermon there, it was a very powerful sermon to me, and there was a lot of vulnerability that was shared, which isn't something I was used to seeing from pastors. From that point, it was definitely something where I could tell that this church was different and the community here was different. Once the church had offered like a membership class to become a member of the church, I was all in on that, and I wanted to do anything I could to help the church. So I joined the sound team. But at the same time, the pastor actually invited me to a Disciples Made men's group. I'd be very quiet and reserved in those first few weeks. But over time, as seeing some of the other men in the group share their own struggles and how similar they were to my own, it led me to be more open in that group and be able to share more. Having that accountability within the group also led me to dive into the Word a lot more and actually read these Bible stories that I remembered hearing as a kid, but I didn't really read for myself or study. Just hearing that and absorbing that Word and how to apply it to my life was really helpful for me. Throughout the Disciples Made group, there were times when our leader would be out. There would need to be someone to fill in for him. And the first time that occurred, I felt called to do it, but I was still afraid of that because I didn't feel like I could fill those shoes and fit that role. Throughout that week, as I kind of wrestled with that, I did take that step of trusting God more than myself and doing it even though I didn't feel super secure in doing that. And that actually happened a few times throughout our group where the leader was out, so I just kind of fill in for him that week. Towards the end of our group, when that mission statement was made of everyone kind of thinking about leading their own groups, at that point it kind of felt natural in a way. I was still scared because before it was just taking over a week for someone else, and now this was starting my own group and doing it all on my own and worrying about, whether or not I could do that on a week-to-week basis or whether people would even want to join my group versus, someone else's group. Now I'm leading this group and going through this with a group of guys. A few of them I probably knew or was acquainted with before we started our group. Having a more in-depth relationship and being able to talk about a lot of these things on a weekly basis and, being able to hold each other accountable. Sometimes I think it's really easy for people to get discouraged with the church in general, decide they don't need community anymore, that they can follow God by themselves. That's a falsehood that a lot of people can buy into. The easiest way to grow in these characteristics of being more godly is by surrounding ourselves with people that are aiming for that same goal. The best way to do that is to get involved in a group, whether that's a life group or any of the other programs that are going on at Family Church, just to surround yourself with people that are doing the same.